This is the second type of quiet person, and honestly, one of the most misunderstood. These people aren't quiet in the way everyone thinks. They're not scared. They're not shy. They're not socially awkward. They're selective. They don't speak because a conversation is happening. They speak only when a conversation is worth having. Put them in a room full of small talk, gossip, random stories, or meaningless noise, and their brain just shuts down. They disconnect. They conserve energy. They listen politely. But you can tell they're not really there. But then, mention something real, meaningful, deep, human, a psychological topic, a life question, a philosophical idea, a raw emotion, or even a weird conspiracy theory. Suddenly, they're alive. Their eyes open. Their voice becomes steady. Their mind ignites. They start explaining things with surprising clarity, almost like they've been waiting for this moment. This type believes something powerful. Words have value. Don't spend them cheaply. So they only talk when they can connect, they can learn, they can teach, they can go deeper. Or when the conversation actually means something. They don't waste words, they invest them. And that's why people often misunderstand them. Some say they're boring. Some say they're too quiet. Some say they're not social enough. But the truth? They're not difficult. They're focused. They don't care about filling silence. They care about filling meaning. If you ever hear this type talk a lot, you should know something important. The topic touched their mind, or touched their soul. And now, let's move to the next type of quiet mind. The one who doesn't talk much, because their entire world exists inside their thoughts. Some quiet people don't stay silent because they're shy, or because they're avoiding conversations, or because they're trying to escape attention. Their silence has a different source, a deeper one, a louder one. These are the people whose minds are so active, so full, so constantly processing, that speaking feels like interrupting their own thoughts. They don't talk less because they have nothing to say. They talk less because they have too much to say, and they're constantly sorting through which thoughts actually matter. Picture this type sitting in a room. Everyone else is chatting, laughing, reacting instantly. But them, they're quiet, not nervous, not uncomfortable, just elsewhere. Because mentally, they're already running. Analyses, scenarios, reflections, connections between ideas, emotional evaluations, predictions, internal dialogues. Their brain is busy, even when their body looks still. You ask them a simple question like, "What are you thinking about?" And they hesitate. Not because they don't trust you, but because they don't even know where to start. Their mind has 20 open tabs, 3 internal monologues, and an entire movie playing in the background. They think deeply. They think constantly. They think quietly. This type is often misunderstood as distant, uninterested, cold, or slow to react. But the truth is the opposite. They notice everything. They absorb everything. They process everything. And that processing takes time. Silence becomes their default because their mind is already full. Words feel heavy, and they don't want to speak until they're sure their thought is complete. Here's the psychological twist. These people are highly introspective. They rely on internal dialogue for guidance. They connect ideas others never notice. They need mental space to function, and external noise drains them faster than anything else. This type doesn't fear silence. They need it. It's their workspace, their refuge, their natural environment. Give them a quiet room, and they will build universes inside their mind. Give them a loud crowd, and they will shut down. Not from fear, but from overload. Their silence is not emptiness. It's depth. And once you understand them, you realize their quietness is not a lack of personality, but a sign of an inner world richer than most people can imagine. Some quiet people don't talk much because they're shy, or overwhelmed, or lost in their own thoughts. But then, there's a different kind of quiet person, a rare one, a powerful one, a type that doesn't speak often. But when they do, the entire room listens. These people carry something most others don't. Presence, not loud energy. Not forced confidence, not fake positivity, just presence. They sit calmly, they observe quietly, they react slowly, they speak intentionally, and everything about them feels grounded. They don't need to dominate conversations. They don't need to prove their intelligence. They don't need to perform socially. Their silence isn't fear, it's control. Their calmness isn't numbness, it's mastery. Their quietness isn't weakness, it's power. Psychologists refer to this type as the silent authority, a person whose confidence comes from the inside, not from attention. They don't interrupt. They don't fight for the spotlight. They don't rush to speak. Because they understand something subtle but profound. The louder someone is, the less they're listening. And these people? They listen deeply, accurately, intuitively. They watch how others move. They study reactions. They sense the energy in the room. They pick up on things most people miss. And when they finally speak, their words hit harder because they were chosen carefully. Not all quiet people are soft. Some are silent because they're strong. Some because they're wise. Some because they're focused. Some because they're self-contained. But the silent authority is different. They're emotionally stable. They think before acting. They choose peace over drama. They value clarity over chaos. Their silence communicates more than words. Their presence calms the room. People naturally trust them. Not because they talk a lot, but because they talk with purpose. This is the type of person who stays calm while everyone else is panicking. The one others go to for advice. The one whose opinion feels heavier. Even if they say only a few words, their quietness is not emptiness. It's leadership. It's confidence. It's depth. So if you've ever been told you're too quiet, think again. Maybe you're not quiet. Maybe you're powerful. Some quiet people don't stay silent because they're afraid, or because they're overthinking, or because they're hiding. Some stay quiet because they've learned to protect their emotional energy like a limited resource. They treat their mind like a clean room. Only a few people get access. Only a few situations deserve a reaction. Only a few conversations are worth entering. These are the emotional minimalists. They don't explode. They don't overreact. They don't jump into every argument or every chaotic moment. They've mastered the art of conserving energy. If someone talks behind their back, they ignore it. If a group starts drama, they step away. If the conversation becomes loud, messy, pointless, they detach, quietly, gracefully. People often misinterpret this as, "Why are you so cold? Why don't you care? Why don't you say something?" But the truth is, they do care. Just not about everything. They know that reacting to everything is a fast way to emotionally burn out. So they choose their battles carefully, intelligently. They don't talk much, because talking takes emotional effort, and emotional effort is precious. These are the people who think before they speak, who don't respond impulsively, who never say things they'll regret, who stay calm in situations where others lose control. Not because they're numb, but because they're selective. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's discipline. Their quietness isn't weakness, it's emotional maturity. And here's the interesting part. If an emotional minimalist gives you their attention, their trust, their words, it means you've earned a place most people never will. Their circle is small, but real. Their words are few, but meaningful. Their calmness is deep, but intentional. Quiet, exterior. Rich, interior. This is the emotional minimalist. And next, We're moving to a type that feels everything, sometimes too deeply. A quiet mind driven not by minimalism, but by emotional intensity. Quiet people aren't just quiet. They often carry a purpose deep beneath the silence, a mission their behavior unconsciously follows. Some quiet people speak less because they're learning, some because they're healing, some because they're protecting themselves, some because they're protecting others, and some because their silence is their way of understanding the world. Quiet minds don't waste words. They don't perform for attention. They don't speak just to fill the air. They speak when it matters. Their silence is intentional, a form of emotional discipline that most people never master. In crowded rooms, they notice who feels left out, who seems anxious, who is pretending, who is authentic, who is hurting quietly, who is performing loudly, who hides behind humor, who hides behind anger, who hides behind confidence. They don't talk much because their brain is busy reading the world. They see layers others miss. They hear emotions others ignore. They sense tension before it becomes conflict. They feel energy shifts before anyone says a word. Quiet minds are not passive. They are scanning, analyzing, understanding, and decoding. But here's the deeper truth. Quiet people are often the emotional stabilizers of the world. They bring calm to chaos, comfort to discomfort, depth to superficial conversations, presence to noisy situations. When they speak with precision, not confusion. When they act with intention, not impulse. And the world desperately needs people like this. Not everyone was born to be loud. Not everyone was meant to dominate conversations. Some were born to observe, to understand, to listen, to guide, to steady the room simply by being in it. Quiet people may seem hidden, but their impact is not. We've explored the thinkers, the observers, the protectors, the escape artists, but now it's time for the quietest type of all. The one who speaks less because they've built a world inside themselves, a world richer, deeper, and more meaningful than most conversations around them. This type doesn't stay silent out of fear, or discomfort, or insecurity. They stay silent because they don't need noise. They've found something stronger, inner fulfillment. They don't need validation. They don't crave attention. They don't chase reactions. Their mind is peaceful, a place they actually enjoy being in. Quiet is their home. When something dramatic happens around them, they don't explode. They don't overreact. They absorb. They understand. They stay steady. And their silence often makes others curious. Some admire it. Some misunderstand it. Some feel intimidated by it. Some even assume something is wrong with them. But nothing is wrong. In fact, everything is right. These quiet souls carry a level of emotional maturity that most people reach only after years of chaos. Instead of shouting to be seen, they let their presence speak. Instead of arguing, they walk away. Instead of proving their worth, they demonstrate it through actions. Instead of talking about dreams, they work on them in silence. And here's the deeper psychological truth. The quieter a person becomes, the more they hear, the more they observe, the more they understand, the more they grow. Silence becomes a superpower, a filter for unnecessary chaos, a shield against negativity, a sanctuary for creativity, a compass for intuition, a lens for understanding human behavior. Quiet people don't lack a voice. They choose when to use it and when they finally speak. Their words carry weight, because their silence gave those words meaning. So if you're one of the quiet minds, you're not behind, you're not strange, you're not invisible, you're not too quiet. You're simply wired differently, built for depth, not noise, for clarity, not chaos, for meaning, not attention. And the world needs people like you. People who think before they speak, people who feel deeply, people who choose their words wisely, people who bring calm into loud rooms, people who listen to understand, not to reply. Silence is not weakness. Silence is intelligence. Silence is grounding. Silence is self-awareness. Silence is emotional strength. You are not less because you speak less. You are more because you understand more than most people ever will. And now that you know the truth behind quiet minds, it's time to embrace yours. Stay curious, stay growing. Subscribe for part 2. Your mind will thank you.